Good morning to the EFAST Summit as we celebrate its second anniversary. I sincerely appreciate you all for taking the time today to join us. I would like to start with a heartfelt thank you to each one of you here for your invaluable contributions and steadfast support throughout the evolution of EFAST India. Your unwavering patience and dedication has been instrumental in our journey. I am Manojna Polisetti from WRI-India, and I'm truly honored to be here today celebrating 2 years of EFAST India's remarkable progress. EFAST India is a visionary effort by NITI Aayog to accelerate the transition towards sustainable and efficient freight transport in India. Today, the EFAST family has grown to include 17 knowledge partners and 70 industry partners, all united in the shared vision to transform India's freight transport sector. This event would not have been possible without the support of our incredible EFAST partners. Their expertise and dedication have been instrumental in driving the initiative forward. When we first embarked on this journey, the zero-emission trucking ecosystem was just beginning to scratch the surface. Today, we are witnessing a remarkable shift. Key industry partners are now envisioning possibilities and exploring ways to make that a reality. Today's event promises to be an exciting showcase of insightful discussions from eminent leaders in the ZET space, including policymakers and industry experts. The sessions will feature discussions on strategic policy measures, lessons from early adopters, and innovative financing solutions essential for scaling the ZET deployment. We look forward to engaging dialogues that will further propel our shared vision of a sustainable and electrified freight future. Thank you for being here to commemorate this milestone with us and for continuing to drive our shared mission towards a greener and more efficient future. To kick off today's event, I would like to invite Mr. Pawan Mulukutla to deliver the welcome address. Pawan is the Executive Program Director of Integrated Transport, Clean Air and Hydrogen, WRI-India. His leadership at WRI-India builds on the ongoing dialogue and collaboration towards transition to sustainable energy consumption models. Welcome, Pawan.
Good morning, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to be here today. And very grateful to actually NITI Aayog, Mr. Sudhendhu Sinha, advisor at NITI, who actually kind of conceived this idea. When we met 2 years back on how do we really initiate this conversation with industry partners and our knowledge partners, Sir said one thing, that can we create a collaborative platform that brings everyone together? The problems are big, and the solution requires not an individual organization or an individual to work, but everyone coming together to really address this challenge. And that's how the idea of EFAST actually was born. In fact, the logo that you see is actually something Sir had thought through this in terms of how do we really bring EFAST and make India stand out in terms of the decarbonization of the freight sector itself. And I would also like to acknowledge, we started this journey September 7th, 2022, exactly 2 years back. And it was fantastic to back then see all the industry partners and all the knowledge partners. What we started with 3 knowledge partners as the founding partners, RMI, CalSTART, and World Economic Forum. And then with, of course, other industry leaders, it has now expanded to 17 knowledge partners. Most of them, I see all my friends and colleagues here in crowd today. And it has truly become a collaborative initiative. And I think that's what it really needs when we are talking about how do we address this challenge of decarbonizing. We know that there's challenge of financing, the issue of charging infrastructure for trucking. So it really requires all great minds to come together and think through how do we really create innovative financing models, business models, how do we get charging infrastructure deployed, how do we really talk about highway electrification. What do we really do about specific use cases? And in the last 24 months, we have really seen so much of discourse that has really started around this whole e-trucks, if I may say so, to really start thinking about how do we really decarbonize this freight sector itself, which contributes so much to the emissions. It's really heartening to see everyone coming together. I think that's the biggest thing for eFast is how do we create a collaborative approach, and how do we then bring in different solutions as puzzle pieces to put together to really address this. I also would like to acknowledge Mr. Karthik Atmanathan from PSA, who is joining us here. He's been instrumental in driving the whole policy discourse around the e-trucks. And a couple of weeks back, the PSA office released, the Principal Scientific Advisor's Office released a policy advisory around the whole trucking, e-trucking, in terms of how do we use policy measures both on supply side, demand side, and charging infrastructure to take this conversation. And this is exactly what we really need today, is bringing together what we all are good at and really solve these different pieces of challenges that we are facing today. We have, through this platform, we have reached more than 125 companies. And we have been in conversations with, and 70 industry partners are part of this eFast initiative. In fact, last year at the Clean Energy Ministerial, all the knowledge partners came together, and I see Urska from WBCSD, I see Joseph from CalStart, my colleagues from SF3, Terry, GIC, all partners coming together. I think that's what we really want this platform to be. How do we really ensure that we are able to deliver solutions at scale? And this is how we'll be able to take this discourse in India. With that, I welcome you all, and looking forward to the day-long deliberations. We have a very interesting agenda, which really focuses on different aspects of how we are going to look at policies, how we are going to solve the issues of infrastructure, how we are going to solve the issues of financing, and that's what it really is. To identify solutions, we need more, we know the problems, we need more solution providers, thinkers, people who can think through this, people who can deliver this and implement and take it forward. Also would like to recognize Shakti Foundation, who have been very instrumental in supporting this platform since its beginning. And with that, welcome you all and look forward to wonderful deliberations and conversations throughout the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Pawan, for setting the stage for today's event and providing such a compelling overview. Next, we are honored to have Mr. Madhav Pai, CEO of WRI-India, deliver a plenary address on bridging policies and industry ambitions for a collaborative freight transition. Under his leadership, WRI-India has supported implementation of several pioneering projects, including Indore BRT, the Mumbai Climate Action Plan, and National Electric Bus Program. Welcome, Madhav.
Good morning, everyone. I think Pawan has set the context in a big way. I mean, I think really it's a privilege to be here at the 2-year mark of this conversation around freight electrification and the eFast platform. As WRI India, we have been sort of really participating in, I would say, important conversations related to climate and climate change policies. And, traditionally our approach would always be to do 1 or 2 pilots, do a deep study, research about a topic and learn from it. But, when this idea of freight electrification came, NITI Aayog also showed visionary leadership. And we said, first, let's create a dialogue platform and pilots, etc., will emerge. And the right relevant conversations will emerge from this. So I think this was actually for us also a very sort of new approach to trying to sort of bring the conversation around such an important topic forward very, very quickly. So I'm very happy in a way to see this approach work, and I feel like this can also be used for many other conversations that are going. So again, really very, your leadership really means a lot to sort of almost making an example of how we can accelerate some of these conversations. Basically, we spoke about really, collaboration. I mean, I think this is, I think at a 2-year mark, we have been, I think, successful at collaboration. I think for us, really now it is how do you take collaboration to co-creation, right? I mean, and that is really the opportunity to think forward right now. It's not a small if you look at India's sort of climate trajectories, right? The biggest, and we've done some modeling in-house also. We have something called the India Energy Policy Simulator. It's an open source tool. You can go look at it. Basically, the 5 biggest decarbonization opportunities really in India are cement, steel, aluminum, chemicals, and freight, right? And I think, transport is the fastest. 50% of emissions will come from industry. The next about 15-17% are transport today. Transport is the fastest growing sector, and 70% of the transport emissions are in freight, right? So this is clearly one of the top 5 decarbonization opportunities. Also, if you look at cement, again, freight electrification becomes a substantial part of the cement decarbonization opportunity as well, in addition to this. So again, I think it's very clear that this is an extremely important topic for us to really accelerate conversations on. So I think a lot of times when we start, especially, as a group, when we talk about these things, a lot of times we mean the same thing, we want to do the same things, but we just don't have the common language to do that. And the purpose of such a platform really helps also generate that common vocabulary. And then common vocabulary, once is established, then you can actually have those kind of trusted conversations. And I think that's where the platform, which allowed, one-to-one dialogue, Niti Samvad, smaller group engagements, all of that has helped really generate in this community this common vocabulary that now allows us to speak, exchange freely. And really, for me, I think, the next part of this journey is really going from convening to eventually actually doing contracting, right? I mean, that is when you will be able to do things at scale. So, just from collaboration to co-creation, from convening to contracting, I think this is the kind of transitions, if we are able to facilitate with this platform, I think we will be truly successful. Already, I do think that, there has been a lot of global visibility on this. Other countries are interested in sort of launching similar platforms. So already, this India for the world story is emerging from this. And I think if we were able to really, I think this is where also the scale is going to really help us. I mean, the common vocabulary, etc., is able to allow us to do real transactions. The opportunities for aggregation are just immense. And I think, if we are able to drive that kind of, then we can really become this can really become a story for the world that India can take and demonstrate also, our leadership on these topics of doing this. I mean, I think the Bharat ZET policy advisory, the initial pilots that have happened in cement, mining, FMCG sectors are all extremely important. And I think, also really, this is the fact that, charge point operators have been part of these conversations right from day one really sort of demonstrates also how we can really integrate this whole electric thinking, into electric and digital thinking. How do we really integrate into the transition conversation? I think is also very, very meaningful. So with that, really very, very pleased, I think, to be here at a 2-year mark. Really excited to see what we can do as a group together on this. We are very happy to support in our role as much as we can. And, really confident that we'll be able to create really a sustainable zero emission future for India's freight sector. So thank you once again. Welcome to all and look forward to the conversations today. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhav, for the thought-provoking plenary address. I request Pawan to present a token of appreciation. Okay, fine. Thank you for taking the stage, Madhav. Now we would like to take the opportunity to acknowledge the incredible work and dedication of all our knowledge partners who have contributed to the eFast Summit. As we celebrate the collective achievements of eFast India, we are excited to honor each of our esteemed knowledge partners. I'll announce the knowledge partners in an alphabetical order, and I warmly invite each representative to join us on stage for a photo opportunity to commemorate our collaboration. I invite Mr. Joseph Teja from CalStat, Dr. Sheshadri Raghavan from CEW. Oh, is he around? Yeah. Dr. Sheshadri Raghavan from CEW, Ms. Shreya Nair from C40, Mr. Amegh Gopinath from GIZ, Dr. Aditya Gupta from IIM Bangalore, Ms. Ananya Das Banerjee from the Institute of Transportation Studies at UC Davis, Ms. Samhita Shiledar from RMI, Mr. Vijay Jaiswal from Smart Fleet Center, Mr. Sharif Kamar from TERI, Mr. Atul Mudlayar from the Climate Group, Ms. Urshka Skirth from WCSD, and Ms. Jyoti Kalash from WRI-India. Next, we are honored to welcome the driving force of eFast India, Shri Sudhendhu Sinha, sir, the advisor of infrastructure, connectivity, and e-mobility at NITI Aayog for a special address.
Thank you, Madhav. Thank you, Pawan. Thanks to each one of you for being present here. And these, distinguished, one of them, all of them in one stage. So exactly 2 years, 3 days before today, we started it. Just on the other side of the Kartavya Path. And that was the time when heavy-duty freight was not a topic of conversation. Neither in the FAME scheme, nor in any one of the other schemes. So we decided that once that realization came in, that if we have to achieve the target, which is the bigger aim of clean transportation, that cannot be achieved until freight gets electrification of freight is achieved. The heavy duty, the medium as well as the lower commercial ones are getting transformed, we will not be able to, be very close to the mark. Therefore, this conversation started. And when we started, we had barely 3 knowledge partners. Today, you see a good number of them. We started with 3, and yes, WRI was the first one whom we could catch hold of. And then the next year, we grew by 4x, so there were 12 of them. And another year, we added 50% of that, another 6 of them. So that is how today, close to 17 knowledge partners are there. In the very first meeting, if I recollect, there were hardly industry presence. They were just, there was a kind of guest appearance. So, and from there we moved on to 40 next year. And today, the number is 70. So 70 industry partners are there. Some of the main challenges, some of the main doubts that was coming in the mind of the industry players was, and so was it coming in the minds of the OEMs, that for whom should we be manufacturing for? Who are the takers? Where is the demand? If we manufacture, can it be deployed? And of course, that particular riddle was solved because they could aggregate the demand for 7,750 vehicles. That simply gave a kind of confidence that if the vehicles are there, if the proper business models are available, if financing support is there, if policy regulations are also supporting them, if states are on board, then they can definitely be deployed. So industry showed their keenness that we are ready for it, provided vehicles are there. And the owners also, that gave a lot of confidence to these owners that, okay, they can go for it. So that is how precisely we have been able to achieve in last 2 years. In addition to that, Karthik is right there, they went in for the study of a very granular study of the dense corridors, the positioning of these vehicles all over India. Because if we have got, let's say, 4 billion heavy-duty trucks, where exactly do they run? Ownership could be, okay, ownership is confined to 5 states, but where is the movement? Where are the most dense corridors of India located? What makes good business sense? Because trucking is different from the bus transformation. From the simple, understanding, because in bus transformation, the public service element is there, but in trucking, it is a pure commercial activity. So more than anything else, we will have to economically prove beyond doubt that it makes a good economic sense that when you are transforming from, ICE to that or gasoline-based fuel to that of the electric one. So that was the challenge, and the good thing is that today we have got all the logic, all the arguments in position, and that is what is encouraging these people to go for this transformation. Now the challenge ahead. The challenge is that today, the actual number of electric trucks are very less. Today, the number of OEMs into the stream, active OEMs into the stream, is very less. We have to ensure that when we are celebrating our next year, Karthik, for you, next year, then probably we have to take this number to a greater heights. Scalable pilots, yes, but in addition to that, at least the numbers and also, solid MOUs between where the partnership of OEM, financiers, leasing players, all the stakeholders, and of course the end users, it is there. So that has to be, we have to ensure that in this 1 year we are able to, in the next 1 year we are able to take that thing to be there. Because otherwise, we will be missing this opportunity. And second is also that we have to create a system whereby, that understanding whereby all the stakeholders, for them, it is proved beyond doubt that it is a good business, good economic sense, good business opportunity, and that is the prime reason why they are transforming to electric. So probably these are the two principal, the challenges that are before us that we need to address. But yes, that will be a point of deliberation, that will be the topic of deliberation for the entire day. Meanwhile, I must congratulate all the knowledge partners, each of the industry players, because I have got every reason to celebrate their contributions, the very fact that they are nudging their management to gradually shift to it. And every day I am watching myself that the big users are getting into the stream. They are coming to us to open the conversation that how exactly they can have the quality trucks, what should be the business support it could be given. The financiers are getting into the stream. They are ready to support it. So that means that we have created, in a way, it's a substantial success that we have created, and it's time that we roll it little, spin it little faster so that in next 1 year we are able to achieve it, when FAME will also be there, when multiple government support will also be there, when state governments will also be there, also crafting their own systems whereby they are able to support it. So all this thing will be there. So therefore, my congratulations to each one of you. A great work that you have done, each of the industry players who have really contributed, and all my good wishes, because I am myself into the thick of at the center of the field. So all my good wishes, all our good wishes for next 1 year. Thank you. Okay. But where is the seat? Come.
Thank you, Sinha, sir, for your insightful address. I request you to take a seat on the stage. Your overview of the strategic importance of the initiative underscores the critical role it plays in advancing electrification of freight and fostering innovation. We deeply appreciate each of our knowledge partners for their invaluable efforts. Your collaboration is integral to the success of eFast India, and I request you all to take a moment for a quick photo op.